One thing that I've noticed when people start helping their parents move is that they usually expect the hard part to be the logistics. Finding the next place, listing the house, coordinating the move. But the part that tends to surprise people is that the real challenge often shows up somewhere else entirely. And if you're an adult child helping your parents move, understanding these surprises ahead of time can make the whole process feel a lot more manageable. Before we get into it, I'm curious. Have you started helping a parent or older relative move? Is it easier or harder than you expected? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your experience. Oh, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you're watching this from. My name is Hannah. I'm a New Hampshire realtor specializing in housing transitions for older adults and the families who love them. I've seen how complicated these decisions can become, balancing safety, independence, finances, family dynamics, and overall well-being. This channel is meant to be a trusted resource for anyone growing older in New Hampshire. I cover homes, communities, businesses, practical, research-backed strategies that help you live safely and independently. Let's get into today's topic. One of the things that surprised me when I started learning more about senior housing transitions is that helping parents move is often very different from a typical move earlier in life. When we move in our 20s or 30s, it's usually about opportunity, a new job, a bigger home, a different city. But when someone is moving later in life, the situation is often more layered. There may be health concerns, there may be conversations about independence, there may be family members involved who all care so deeply but have different opinions. And because of that, the moving process tends to unfold differently than people expect. If you didn't already see my video about why older adults move for different reasons than younger adults do, you can check that out right here. That video goes deeper into the motivations behind these moves. But today I want to talk about specifically what surprised me about the process of helping parents move. The first thing that surprised me is that the process always takes way longer than people expect. When adult children start thinking about helping their parents move, they often picture a fairly straightforward timeline. Maybe a few weeks of preparation, maybe a month or two to get things organized. But when someone has lived in the same home for decades, the timeline naturally expands. There are more decisions to make, more conversations to have, more things to sort through, and sometimes the biggest delays aren't practical, they're emotional. A house that's been lived in for 30 or 40 years usually holds a lot of memories. So one of the most helpful things adult children can do is simply build extra time into the process. Not because anyone is doing something wrong, but because transitions like this deserve a slower pace. The second thing that surprised me is how often sorting through belongings becomes the biggest challenge. Most people assume the difficult part will be the real estate side of things. But in many cases, the most time-consuming part of the process is simply deciding what stays, what goes, and what gets passed on to family. Over the course of a lifetime, people accumulate a lot. Furniture, keepsakes, paperwork, photos, tools, holiday decorations. Sometimes entire rooms filled with items that haven't been touched in years, but still feel meaningful. And making those decisions can take time. Sometimes it helps to approach the process gradually instead of trying to do everything all at once. One small section at a time, one room at a time, and sometimes the most helpful thing an adult child can do is simply be patient and supportive while those decisions happen. The third thing that really surprised me is just how significant the emotional side of this transition can be. When older adults move, they're not just leaving a building. They're often leaving a place where they raised their family, a neighborhood they've known for years, a routine that feels familiar and safe. Even when the move is a positive step, maybe closer to family or into a home that's easier to manage, it can still bring up a lot of emotions. For adult children, that can sometimes feel confusing because you may be looking at the move from a very practical perspective. You might be thinking about safety, accessibility, simplifying life, but for your parent, the experience may feel much more personal. Understanding that emotional layer can make the process feel a little easier for everyone involved. This kind of transition is rarely just about real estate. It's about life changes. It's about independence. It's about family dynamics. And sometimes it's about figuring out what the next chapter of life will look like. Approaching the process with patience and open communication can make a huge difference. If you ever find yourself navigating this kind of situation in New Hampshire and you want someone to talk to, you're always welcome to reach out to me. My phone number is 603-573-6969. In the next few videos, we're going to look a little deeper into this conversation. We'll discuss why cleaning out a longtime family home is more difficult, and it's not just because there's more stuff. So if that's something you're navigating right now, I will see you next time. When people start, no, not even, what's happening? Where are you moving? For different reasons? Oh.